Welcome to an all-new episode of the MCR. We are here to break down episode 2 of Miss Marvel. I'm very excited to break down this episode. I had a lot of fun with this episode. But before we dive into it, let me introduce our panel, starting off with Joel. What's up, Joel?
What's up, everybody?
Same.
I'm very excited, man. Next up, Didge. What's up, Didge?
Not much. What's up, guys? I'm ready to get into this.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least, Trevon. What's up?
Hey, happy to be here. Can't wait to talk about this. Oh, what a great episode. The best episode on Disney Plus today. Yes.
Ow. Man's not a liar. Man's is not a liar. But all right, let's jump right into this. Joel, I'm going to start with you, man. I never start with you, so I'm going to change it up. I'm going to start with you, Joel.
Oh, boy.
All right, so walk us through, Joel, on this episode 2 of Miss Marvel.
Walk us through the whole thing? Oh, shit.
No. Just, I don't need you to give me a frame for frame. Just whatever you want to talk about.
What happened was, recap.
It was a dark and stormy night. No.
It got really colorful real quick.
Definitely got colorful.
Yeah, it's very, very bright. Well, basically, it progressed from last week. But yeah, no, we got more of her now using her powers. I look, this episode, again, it's just, I don't know what it is, but like you watch it and you're happy. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I smile as I watch this episode, and like she's got such an infectious personality, I guess. Maybe that's just her. And the show has like her family is really great, and it's just been like a really feel good type of show, and so I've really enjoyed the energy that it gives off, and which is funny because like that's basically what like she's working with now. Her new powers are basically hard light, platforming, and that whole new stuff that's pretty interesting. It's very new from what like we're not used to that, which is cool. But I like the way it looked good, at least in the show so far. But I think there's obviously more to it. Obviously, they've definitely teased a lot that they haven't explained yet, and obviously it ends that way too, where it's like more questions than we have answers for. And obviously, they expose that it's inside of her. It's not the bangle itself that gives her the powers, so it's like. Okay, we kind of had an idea that might be a factor, and then obviously they keep teasing about her family history, and there's definitely something up there. And then the character Cameron, she runs into in this episode, who's from the comics, and I mean they're all from the comics technically, but this character comes into her life and. You figured was like a love interest type, and he still might be, but at the end of the day, there's obviously more to him at the end of the day because he's a little shady actually because he was he scouting her the whole time. After you think about it, you know what I mean?
Well, our biggest question is: Are they pulling a Luke and Leia? Because we're made to believe that the woman in the back seat was her great grandmother, right?
Right.
And then he said that's my mom. He said that's my mom. So if that's your mom and that's her great grandmother, that's blood.
Yeah.
Very close
blood. We gotta see, yeah. So we gotta see how they explain that because right now it's looking real Luke and Leia.
Like, wait a minute, you're like my uncle?
Right? Yeah, technically, yeah, to a degree. Go ahead, Trevon. What are you asking for? I pass back to Joel.
Oh, the great grandmother. I thought you said her mom was the one that brought disgrace to the family.
No,
she said her. They said her grandmother.
No, because remember the Illuma aunties were saying that Kamala's mother had to spend almost a lifetime restoring
after her grandmother.
After her grandmother,
right?
Brought shame to the family.
Kamala talked to her grandmother over the phone,
right?
But it wasn't her; it was her mother that they're talking about, and. Obviously, they lost track of her, and it seems that might be her in the back seat there, because she every time with the bangles on, she kept having visions about that lady, right? And then you kept hearing the train right in the background. So it's like there's something there. So again, I still don't know what the hell that's all about. So at least I'm intrigued. Like it sounds very interesting. I can't wait till they explain it all. But the show itself, again, very good, and I just. we'll see where it goes.
Well, you had me whenever you start something off with Mace, you got me. So I was sold. I was sold in the first 5 seconds.
That was great music choice to start off the episode.
And it was foreshadowing. Right?
Yeah,
it was foreshadowing to her meeting her new crush, possible future uncle. But that was great.
Hilarious that he might be her future uncle after she basically lied and said, "Yeah, this is our uncle's kid."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is family.
She didn't lie.
Ooh, you're right. You're very right. But the biggest thing that stood out to me is the fact that they are still referring to people with abilities as enhanced individuals. Remember, we thought when that was used in Avengers 2, we thought that was just Marvel's way of saying mutants without being able to say mutants, right? So now it seems like they're expanding it. It's just anyone that looks like they have an ability is an enhanced individual.
Metahuman.
Not separate. No, but I'm saying it's not. Now we know it's not separate. Like Marvel wasn't just using that for mutants.
I think it was at first.
Everybody.
And now it's evolved since then.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out. This damage control guy is really interesting to me.
Cleary, right?
He's really fucking interesting to me. I'm gonna pass it to you, Trevon, but I'm getting massive fucking Skrull vibes from this guy. I really am. The way he speaks about enhanced individuals sounds like it's personal, right? Like it sounds really like something either happened to him by an enhanced individual, because it just seems like a dislike.
You got probed
rather
once.
than like it's just his job, right?
Right.
Would you say, Joel?
So you got probed once. He's probably upset.
Oh, probably.
Oh.
But there just seems to be a lot there, right? So I'm just very interested because look, I do believe at some point before the fucking show comes out, a Skrull has to pop up in this motherfucker, right? Not in this show. I just mean in the MCU before Secret Invasion. This show is a perfect door to open, knowing that it goes right into the Marvels, right? So I'm like, this would be a perfect gateway to do that, and then Secret Invasion is probably right in between the two. So I'm like, yeah, this would be a pretty good spot to start it. Even her great grandmother. If you're telling me the stories was about her back then, and we're now in 2023, how the fuck she in age? Like,
right?
You know what I
mean?
She looked very young for somebody to be a great grandmother.
Yeah, like we accept it for Scott Lang because we do believe that in real life, what's his name that plays Scott Lang definitely sold his soul to remain beautiful for all of eternity. But I am curious. I am very curious. What's the more that meets the eye with her great grandmother? But Trevon, I pass it to you. What were your thoughts on this episode?
Well, I mean, Joel pretty much went over everything that happened in this episode. That like the fact that he said it came out of her, it's not coming straight from the bangle. I thought that was really awesome to hear. I was okay, cool. So it's not just the bangle. Like she actually has some abilities inside of her, and it just unlocked her. I think that's really cool. And I also wonder, like, okay, so since it unlocked her ability from inside of her, would have done that for like her mom? I was wondering, like, what if her mom put it on? Would the same thing happen to her? Would it unlock her?
It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible they got a family of abilities.
Yeah, so her mom definitely knows something's up with that. Like the way she acts every time. Yeah. Like they bring that up. Like she's hiding the bangle really well. Like I want to see what her mom will do. She actually see it on her. She try to rip it off.
And I did want to ask you, Trevon, because it didn't really convey it that well, unless her grandmother was just like trying to pull a fast one on her. But her grandmother seemed as though, right, like there's a disconnect there. Like there's something the mother knows that maybe the grandmother doesn't know of the great grandmother. Because Kamala's mom seemed essentially terrified to see that bangle is now in their possession, right? Like it seemed, she kind of looked at it and snatched it from Kamala like she thought that was gone, long gone, right? Like why is this still here, right?
But,
but when she asked her grandmother was kind of just like, kind of like playing coy to a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Her
So
grandma was
I'm
real
curious how much she
cagey
knows.
to me. Her grandma was cagey. Like she was like she didn't really want to talk about it. She was like, I don't think I should be talking about this right now. I don't think I should even like. So I said too much, and I was like, what? I was like, okay, like what did you say?
Well, it would make sense though, because remember they said that her mom was the one who had to basically spend a lifetime to pull the family name out the mud. So maybe during whatever she had to do for that, she learned more that her mom or Kamala's grandmother wouldn't know. You know, I guess you figure the first way of trying to clear your name, you got to figure out, well, what all really went wrong that we got to clear this.
Well,
Right.
I mean,
And she's sitting the Bengal there, right? The nanny's sitting there,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
she got an alternative gender.
Like he was like, I want to get this curse thing away from me. Send it there. Let them deal with it. Like I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
So I am curious, Trevon, your thoughts, because we do know in the comics this boy that Kamala has a crush on. We do know in the comics he has powers. And his powers kind of his powers kind of mirror more so the light essence than Kamala's does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if he is indeed related, she comes from a bloodline that has something in them that gets unlocked somehow, right?
Right.
So it's like whether or not he'll actually play into that, who knows? But like, does that strike your curiosity of like, does she come from a bloodline, or is this just specifically here and there, like spotty?
It's almost like she like when she was like, I've been waiting to meet you or whatever, and I was like, so and then I started thinking maybe all of them don't have it. Maybe some of them do, some don't, and maybe they want to see if the Bengal will be attracted to her. Maybe I don't know. Like I wonder if that's like they knew what a Bengal was and just trying to see if it pulls her in. I guess for her to put it on, because she definitely was attracted to it. You know, she didn't let it go once she saw it once. And, you know, so I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this goes. I think it's really messed up though that she, you know, it was under the impression that he just liked her or whatever. Kind of found out, no, kind of plotted on you. Like, come on, get in the car with a stranger.
That's what. That's the thing that's confusing me the most.
Nice car. It was nice.
That's
car.
the nice car. That's the thing that's confusing me the most, because I kind of feel like, to me, it would be weird if he knew they were related and played along with the flirtation. Because I'm like, why not just say like, I am family, right? You know, and bring her in that way. Because I'm like, you can't predict somebody. What if she was just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going for it. I'm going to kiss him, right? And then it's just like, well, shit. Now we are Luke and Leia, right? So I'm like, that was a very risky thing to do. So I'm very curious if he knew ahead of time or if he found that out after meeting her and it was just like, oh, fucking perfect. I've been looking for her.
How much does he actually know is the question.
Right. You know, because that's just a very dangerous game. She was dreaming about this motherfucker. It's like...
Well, and then I know I was talking to a couple of friends about that earlier, because I was under the same impression. Like, clearly, if she's envisioning it after the Bengal, that this has to be her great grandmother. And one of our friends was like, "Why necessarily? Like, sure, she's visioning about this mysterious woman. We get no confirmation that that's the same that woman is her grandmother,
right,
or her great grandmother.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
It could also be that. I just wanted to throw that out there just in case. But I don't know. It's an interesting concept otherwise.
He might not know they're related. He just was put on a mission.
Also, that's true.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I can't wait to see the explanation of it, because I'm like, to me, it's very weird if he did. That's why I'm saying I agree with you that I hope he did not know. Because that's a really weird ass tactic to deploy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you in the sense that hopefully he does not know.
Even makes the lunch thing a little more weird if he didn't. If he did know, it's even worse. I don't know.
This is awkward.
I was curious that our brother was so like he bought it. I was like, you really bought that? I was like, really? Like, come on, man.
That quickly too? Like, no hesitation. Like, he looked at it for a minute. I love it. You got me.
Like, no, I was like, what? Come on, man. Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens with that. This was a very cool to find out that it comes from inside of her, and now we see this woman in the back seat. Like, I've been waiting for you, basically. Like, I want to see where that goes.
Why?
Now I'm just really excited to see the next episode. Really, that's what this did for me. It just really made me want to see. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah,
But
Blake,
yeah.
I'm going to pass it to you, Blake, because here's one thing I want these Marvel shows to start doing. I want more Marvel shorts, and what I mean by that is there's usually 3 to 4 things set in dialogue in each of these MCU shows that I just want more information about, right? Or just want to see. So when Kamala was telling her friend, yeah, I tried flying, I tried talking to ants, I'm like, I'm very curious how she got on the ground and tried to talk to an ant. I just want to see how funny that looks, right? But Blake, Joel and Trevon both haven't brought it up yet, so I'm curious if you'll bring it up. The big name drop that we got in this episode that further connects not a lineage, but just, something that I thought was really cool that fits perfectly with this show. That got dropped during, as Trevon was talking about, the lunch between the two. And then your thoughts on the episode.
Was it an Eternal?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I forget who it was, but I remember
Kingo. It was Kingo.
Kingo, okay.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Yep.
What did she say? I don't remember that.
She was saying that he was saying that his mother used to always watch Kingo movies. Like she had a thing about Kingo.
Yeah, she had a crush on the older Kingo. The father.
Right. And what's even funnier about that is the fact that Kingo does not age, right? And we're now looking at somebody that we're to believe does not age either. So she's probably throughout time seen him just like, his family just all looks alike. What the fuck?
Right.
Like it's just mad generations of a clone.
Like, those genes are great.
Those are some good genes.
Just pristine. So it was them bonding over the fact of like, yeah, I've heard of Kingo before. Like he's a legend.
Well, he should be. He
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Bollywood god. Yeah, he's a Bollywood god. Yeah. So I was just very happy that they connected that dot.
Me too. I was very happy that they mentioned him.
And now it makes even more sense why Kamal Nanjiani was going so hard last week during the premiere of Miss Marvel. Like he was going ham. Now we know.
Yeah.
Not only because obviously heritage, but it connected him, right?
He's Pakistani too.
Now they need to meet.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I would like that.
Cool. That'd be really cool. But I'm sorry, Blake. So walk me through your thoughts on this episode.
I agree with what was said. I think it's a really fun show. And I thought that after the first episode and now after the second one, especially that ending, I'm really just interested in where all this is going. And it's fun to... Miss Marvel's not really one of those characters that I'm really knowledgeable about when it comes to comics. So it's really fun to finally just kind of sit back and watch this story unfold, because this is like the one show in a long time that I have no theories or expectations for. Just be good. Just keep the quality throughout the whole show. That's the only thing that I want. And I'm enjoying every single episode so far. And little mentions like Kingo is really cool because our last show was Moon Knight, which really didn't have a ton of references, for the better. I don't think it needed it, but to finally dive back into a character that stands Captain Marvel and references Ant-Man and stuff like that, it's cool and reminds you that there are kids growing up in this world that look up to the people that we also look up to. So the fact that it's even a coming of age story, like Spider-Man Homecoming was a lot like that, and Miss Marvel is just full on committed to that same tone, but I think even like to the next level. And I think that was a great call, because is Kamala Peter same age as he was in Homecoming?
Yeah, around the same.
It might be now because the 5-year gap. I mean, do you consider yourself older after that? Or
yeah, right.
It's hard to keep up.
He should be older than her, but
frozen in time, right?
No, but you still age. You just don't look it. Yeah, but you still age.
I mean, you disappeared for 5 years.
Yeah, you disappeared. You didn't age.
I thought you just basically come back the same age.
Yeah, but once you've come back, that time has elapsed. No, it's not a big difference. But I'm saying once you've come back, that time is still elapsed, right?
Yeah, but somebody who was like 16 when they left, they're not going to come back and be like, yeah, I can go out and go to clubs and stuff because I'm 21.
So you're saying if it was 20 years, he would be like old as fuck when he came back?
No, I'm saying you would look the same, but you still theoretically your age still progressed, right? So you didn't fully just die off completely. Once you came back, the time has still gone, but you just don't.
I get what you're saying. You're chronologically. So
That's
like,
what I'm
I
saying.
was born in 92. If I lost 5 years because I was gone, that doesn't mean I come back in 2027. I'm still 5 years in the future from 92.
Right. So you don't. Your body physically did not age, but theoretically your number has changed from the time you
because
left
time
to
has
the
moved
time
on.
you get back. Right. That's all I'm saying. Not you physically. Yeah. Not you.
So
physically.
I'm like sitting there like that doesn't make sense. But like
not you physically.
So I guess he would still consider himself, even though he's in high school, like 5 years later. Because they still got to finish their senior year.
Right.
Yeah, he's still older than if that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm going to assume I'm going to assume this takes place around like what? Maybe 2025, because I'm assuming it takes place after everything, right?
Yeah.
Because Homecoming and No Way Home is like the year before.
2024, right?
2024, yeah. So it's like, I'm assuming this takes place after that. So.
And it's also cool because Zendaya, Tom, and Iman are slightly older than the age they're portraying. So you cast it perfectly because they look the exact age they're portraying. So I'm like, right. So I'm like, if Tom needed to be, like we're saying, older, he could be a little older if you're saying only 5 years passed. Motherfucker could do 5 years.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
You didn't say he aged 20. Like, that's a stretch.
No,
But 5, you could easily do that. You could easily do that. But yeah, to your point, Blake, I think Homecoming in Into the Spider-Verse gave birth to what this show is able to do, right? Because when you think about it, there's no pressure on telling a coming of the age story because Spider-Man already did it, and it did it perfectly. So now people are like, I'm very, very much open to you doing it again, right? With a whole new character. It's not the pressure on trying to put this new format into the MCU. Spider-Man's been there, done that. Into the Spider-Verse has been there, done that. So now you're just like, I just want to see how good you can utilize this show. And like you said, it's just really good. And there's no expectations because I'd even go as far as to say until that game came out, there's a large portion I had no fucking idea.
All my knowledge really came from that game.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, you're playing with nothing but house money here. You're good. You're completely good. And look, if we do a show like this and none of us are saying, oh no, we expected this or that, you know you're good. You know you're good. So Didge, I want to pass it to you because this is possibly the funniest thing of this episode. Is the idea that, do you remember when they went into the mosque? They did everything, they were leaving, and Kamala's friend goes, my shoes were stolen. This is like the
22nd time or something like that?
Now, 2 funny things to that. 1, it only takes me 5 times for me to say, I am never fucking wearing nice shoes here again, right?
Right.
And 2, those shoes popped up in this episode. Would you like to know where those shoes popped up at?
Yeah, I didn't notice them pop back up.
The boy Kamala Khan saved at the end of the episode had her shoes on. He stole her shoes.
Wow, I did not notice
the
that.
Fucking kid had her shoes on. Because when you look at her shoes, like when she puts them in the cubby, her feet are small, right? Like her feet aren't gigantic. Her feet are very small. So when you see them on the little boy, it visually fits because it's like her feet don't look that much bigger than him. So the fucking boy had her shoes on. He stole her shoes, which is funny because she's watching him dangle and she's looking at the shoes just like,
right. She's probably
real familiar.
She's probably thinking that, like,
right, like
little shit has my shoes.
Yeah, like I hope you make it out of this, but fuck you, those are my shoes.
She didn't feel that bad. He twisted his ankle at the end. Like fuck him.
Right, and you know what, Joel? She probably made it worse. She probably went there while they were like, "Hey, are you okay?" She's like, "Get my fucking shoes off your feet." But Didge, how did you feel about this episode?
It was really fun. I mean, like everybody has said, it's something that I have joy watching. You can't help but smile over the interactions of the characters. You can already sort of see, I know we talked about it last episode, how clearly Bruno is in love with her, and you can see it in his jealousy to this episode. So
Wait, his
It was-
name's Bruno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes it even more hilarious.
Oh,
that
when he
what's
called
his
him
name
Brian?
Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
I kept
that
thinking
shit
his
was
name
funny.
was Ryan. I thought his name was
Oh,
Ryan.
you thought
I'm
it was
like,
Ryan? Okay.
I thought it was Ryan,
No.
so I'm like, oh, okay, he messed up. Okay, who cares?
Bruno.
Now it was purely deliberate. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you. Because
That's why he said he did it on purpose.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
everybody else's name right. And then he goes to him and he's just like, Brian, right? And he's just like, fuck you, bitch. You
He
know
was
it.
blocking. He was blocking.
He
though.
was.
He was
hard.
cock blocking
Yeah,
hard.
we noticed.
He was
Oh,
hurt.
this is embarrassing. Stop.
He was super hurt, especially when she blew off training. Oh, he was. It,
Yeah.
it was sad.
I felt bad.
I mean, it is what it is.
It happens. Look,
Right.
it's
Friend zone. That's what happens.
Again,
dog.
it's a coming of age story. That's a part of
That's
life.
part of
growing
it. You're
up.
right.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, Bruno, you've had a few moments. That moment where they were, where he showed her the gloves on the roof, and they had that moment,
True.
and then Bruno was just like, no, no. Well, that was your moment. that was your moment, and you fucked it up. So this is on you. This is all on you.
Yeah, it happens. Like I said, it's just a part about life.
It's
A lot of
part
relatable
life.
moments in
It
this show.
happens. Yeah, it happens.
I also really like that she wasn't perfect at saving him. Like, I feel like a lot of times, especially in superhero movies, they try to make it like, oh, you're perfect really quickly because we know obviously that she's been training. This would have been her first real world action. And it's like, oh, well, all that training paid off. And it's like, well, we haven't even seen enough training for us to say like, hey, all that training paid off.
Right.
So I like that too. But I think overall, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes from here. One of the things that I had saw online that people kept referencing was that I think it fits with the fact that the powers are inside of her, not necessarily the bangle. Is maybe that is a way that you can evolve to her true powers, like that you see from the comic books.
Well, anyone that watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you watch Quake in a cocoon and then explode out of that said cocoon fully powered, right? So it's the idea of this could be more so of a metaphorical cocoon that she's in, and then she breaks out of it and then evolves to the person. Because look, when you watch WandaVision and you look at Wanda's powers in Endgame and then look at her powers at the end of WandaVision, it does not seem drastically different, right? It just seems like a part of you has been awakened.
Right, you're
like
sort of
that
coming
extra
into your
50%,
own.
Right, that's that extra 50% of power you didn't know you had, right? So I'm like, again, she can evolve into all of this, and as long as she does, down the line, I'm fine.
Which
I'm fine.
It's like I had said last episode, that would be a perfect twist on a coming of age story. We like you said, we've already seen it multiple times with the various Spider-Mans. So to have that twist of not only are you coming to age of your just you as a person, but your powers are coming into their own at the same time would be a very interesting twist.
Right.
So I hope it goes that route. That would be something very cool to see. But overall, like I said, I'm excited for next week. It's only 6 episodes, right? I don't like Disney's affiliation with
that's going to change in August with She-Hulk. Thankfully, we'll finally get 9 episodes, I believe.
9,
I think so.
9 or 10.
Yeah,
they've been sporadic with it. And look, some of these shows, I'm like, you didn't even need the 6. And some of these shows, I'm like, 10 would have been really cool.
I wish they had more.
I mean,
right. But to be fair, what makes Miss Marvel not really, and I agree with Trevon a little bit about them switching it, because I would have felt even more okay with it being 6 if you told me I start the year with the Marvel. So I get her right back, right? I get her literally right back. But now that it's a little bit of a gap, it does kind of hit you a little harder of like, maybe if this ended closer to like, beginning of August, maybe I'd be like, okay, all right, okay. It's not that long till February. But now that there's that big ass gap, it's like, I got to fucking revisit the show now, depending on how it ends.
By the time the last episode runs, it'll be almost a year before we see her again.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there, Trevon, of like, you pushing that back is now like, now I got to go all the way back a year from now to revisit this to get ready for the Marvel.
Like making it 9 episodes would have fed it right directly into She-Hulk. Would have been perfect.
Which would have been cool. I won't disagree there. That would have been very much cool. But I'm always glad. Somewhere. Say it again.
So you gotta give her a break for Thor somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't think she has a break.
She doesn't. No.
Yeah, she doesn't have a break for Thor. She still comes out that week.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a Wednesday release for a movie that comes out Thursday.
Mhm.
So yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't end until the following week, so she really
Right. She has 2 episodes. Well, I guess 1 or 2, however you want to talk it.
You could say 2. You count that week and then the week after. You can say
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm always glad when we do a stream where we all agree, right? Where there's no like, well, I didn't like
It's
that, I
nice.
didn't like that. It's very heartwarming, right? So I appreciate that.
That's gonna change when we get to our Kenobi one in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
it will change. Yes, it will.
So let's enjoy this.
It will.
Do not
Vehemently
plan on
change.
staying long then.
But yeah, no. So I'm glad we all enjoyed it. We are now on the edge of our seats because everyone that got the episodes of Miss Marvel only had 2.
Yes.
So now we are all on the same page from 3 on. So I have literally no
that.
idea what to expect this
Yeah.
upcoming week.
I've been
So
jealous,
that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Very
You
excited.
don't have to be jealous, man. Like, relax.
Jealous?
That's what. No, Trevon said he was jealous. I'm like, you don't have to be jealous. Not
Of what
Come
though?
on.
They
I
saw
think he's
that
saying of
before
seeing
me.
the screeners.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not that bad. Again, and again, look, when you see these 2 episodes, they weren't so huge that you're like, damn, I wish I saw this before everybody. These are very just introductory episodes, you know?
but
Now, if I said I had the first
informative,
5, then that's different. Say it again, Joel.
Informative though. They're very informative.
Oh, no. They were necessary. I'm just saying they weren't like, oh my God, like I wish I got a chance to.
That's supposed to be left for like the last 2.
And
No, they're
that's
not gonna give
usually-
them that because somebody
Right, and
will
that's
spoil
usually
that.
why they don't give you the latter half. They
That's-
give you the
yeah,
beginning. Right. Because picture going to somebody trying to spoil, like, hey, the power's in her. It's not just the bangle. And they're like,
Right.
okay. All right. Not a spoiler, really.
I was
The guy
wondering.
from
that.
No Way
That was-
Home comes back.
Yeah, like, all right. The guidance counselor's really nice. Like,
If you would have said the guy from No Way Home comes back, that as a spoiler, I feel like I'd be like, all right, what guy? Who we talking?
Which guy?
There were a few guys.
She's
Yeah.
not like Green Lantern. It doesn't come from the ring
Right.
or the bangle.
The bang, yeah.
But
The
everybody...
mom, she's kind of a hard ass, you know. That's your spoiler. You get.
Oh, thank you, Didge, for saying that. Because Trevon, you owe her a fucking apology.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
Yes, you
I
do.
think you do. She showed
Yes, you
she showed the warm side of it. You could tell she's the hard
Because
ass
she
parent.
saw that her daughter gonna leave anyway, so now she gotta,
That's
get
just
mine.
what that's just being. That's just.
There was a
the
really
You know
sweet
what?
moment.
You know what, Trevon? Let me just say, I see a part of me every time you talk, because I am very vehement on if I stand by something, I'll fucking double down on that shit before I conform
That's why
to
he's
saying
so
somebody
upset
else
about
is right.
Kenobi.
Like, oof, no. If I feel strongly about it, that shit don't
Yeah.
leave.
Very
You don't talk
stubborn,
me
yes.
out of it. You don't talk me out of it. But all right, everybody, stay tuned. We're about to go live to talk the Kenobi episode 5. So stay tuned for that. Till next time, peace.
Dang, dang.